Welcome to FRCMedia News for Thursday, May 26th, 2022. I'm Keith Tebow. It's been 1 year since two people were killed at a shooting in the Corky Row neighborhood of Fall River. Is that area any safer? Local businesses still find struggles but are looking forward to summer. And we outline some of the Memorial Day activities in Fall River this weekend. All this and more coming up. On May 17th last year, two people were killed, one a 14-year-old boy, during a shooting near Griffin Park in the Corky Row neighborhood of Fall River. That area of the city has long been characterized as, quote, the hood. The president of the Corky Row Neighborhood Association says that characterization is not reflective of the people and businesses that call it home. Mark Conrad says in the aftermath of the shooting, there was increased police presence in the neighborhood and support was widespread from many residents and city political leaders. That spike in awareness of Corky Row was welcomed, but the neighborhood has never been overlooked by those in authority in Fall River.
This was a horrible thing. The city poured itself into it, but it cannot be sustained, forever. There still isn't a hand-off approach yet. I'll tell you right now, again, the mayor and the mayor's office is at our monthly meetings. Very, very sensitive to the things we're doing. We meet with our police officers every month, as we were before the shooting, and to take action and to work on things. Look, that park renovation, that $300,000 park renovation was years ago. So again, a lot of attention's been paid to Corky Row. Can we use more? Always can, but it's really in our focus is, and the same thing with the other neighborhood association leaders, our focus is on the residents. They're the ones we got to get involved in the community.
Conrad says residents receive regular updates from police on crime activity in Corky Row, showing incidents of drug and violence on the decline. He says the problems that persist are no different than those facing other neighborhoods across the city.
We have still a number of these boarded up multi-homes that we would love to see an investor come by and renovate and rent, especially as we see rents going up, the cost of living going up. They have a broader market available. That'd be a wonderful thing. The streets are still very dirty, especially when you come out of the winter, so we'll do our spring cleanup here soon. But that would be another thing too. And then I would just sit there and say that I know I'm working directly with the city and a number of the agencies. We'd kind of like to see a youth center in Corky Row. These children who come into our park, and we play with them all summer long, they need a place for after hours and definitely during the inclement weather, so that they too can come someplace after school, have help to be able to do their schoolwork, and then also for a place for them to get out of the houses and come and be kids with each other, especially when, like I said, the weather is inclement.
After the shooting, many residents told Conrad that they were aware that something had taken place in Griffin Park, but didn't know the details of the two fatalities. He says that's disturbing and reflects the trend of residents wanting to keep to themselves and not engage in neighborhood activity.
I think at one time when before this major entertainment element of our lives came into vogue, people used the parks a whole lot more. The Corky Row Club was very, very active. You could see people in the streets quite often. Today you don't. People are pretty much they come in and go in and they stay in. But on the other side of the coin, I see more and more people out cleaning the streets in front of their homes, even though they're not the owners, they're renting there. I'd love to find out that everybody is willing to come out and do the cleanup or to take part or vote. Another thing, we're considering voter registration to get people more involved with the city as a whole. It's slow going, but things are better today than they were last year, and they were better last year than they were the year before.
Conrad says the Neighborhood Association, in conjunction with the city, will continue to sponsor events for residents to enjoy. He's also working with the family of 14-year-old victim Miguel San Giorgio in having him memorialized in some way at Griffin Park, by either having the basketball courts named for him or dedicating a park bench on his behalf. That remembrance will be a small token of what should be a broader neighborhood message.
More importantly, we want him to be remembered through something very proactive, and that is sensitivity to gun violence. To ensure that the residents know exactly what is necessary if somebody has a weapon of some kind, that they're registered appropriately, that the person has it is licensed, and that people know what to do in response. That's another thing I think the police would say. Should they be aware of something like this, how do they respond? And like one of the things that we're trying to educate folks in Corky Row about is that you can contact the police anonymously and make a report, and that's something that's coming out of Miguel's loss, is that we're being educated better to how to assist the police in making the community safer.
At Griffin Park, visual memorials remain for both San Giorgio and 29-year-old Jovan Antonio Mills, also killed during the shooting last May. A third male was also struck by gunfire but sustained non-life-threatening injuries. 2 men have been arrested and charged in that case. Some positive news this week as more Fall River residents have entered the workforce. The city's unemployment rate in April fell sharply, some 1.5 percentage points, to 5.9%, down from 7.4% in March. Rates across the region and in other South Coast cities also fell. The state's jobless rate in April fell 0.2 percentage point to 4.1%. South Coast businesses are still hamstrung by the inability to fill open jobs and the rising cost of doing business due to high inflation. But hopes abound that the summer tourism season will return activity back to pre-pandemic levels. One South Coast Chamber of Commerce co-CEO Michael O'Sullivan says despite encouraging unemployment numbers, local businesses are still struggling to fill open positions.
They're not really making headway. It's still an issue in almost every category of business that we have. It's still a struggle, still a serious struggle. We've seen, people getting a lot more creative in ways to hire new people, in offering different benefits for people. Of course, increasing wages. But it's still a challenge for everybody at every level, for every kind of position. One of the top challenges is still childcare. People have just made the decision that they'll figure out where the money is going to come from, and they'll stay home with their children. I think that's going to be an interesting piece of what happens this summer. But that's probably the number one challenge that I still hear today.
O'Sullivan says high levels of inflation continue to impact businesses' bottom lines, resulting in passing those cost increases on to consumers.
The phrase I heard yesterday was, we've seen unprecedented cost increases that we've never seen before. And that applies to everybody. Gas is a large part of it. But salaries are increasing tremendously just because they're trying to hire people. The minimum wage it's not even yet $15 an hour, will be soon, but there's a lot of jobs that were being advertised at $17 an hour. Now they're $22 an hour. And there's some of the jobs that were still $14 are now $17 an hour. So you're seeing very large increases in the labor costs, even if the businesses are struggling to hire people.
Now that the country is 2 years into the pandemic and restrictions have been greatly lessened, businesses in the tourism and hospitality industry are gearing up for what may shape up to be a banner summer season.
From what we're hearing, the Cape is virtually booked. Which is good news for us, because that means that there's going to be more spillover onto the South Coast for folks to stay here. And it's, just in general, people are ready. People, contrary to what we were talking about with gas prices, people are still going to drive. They're more apt to drive to take a vacation. So that will have a positive impact on the South Coast, as well, as most of our people come, are in a driving distance. So, we will do very well. I know that there's going to be a few, advertising campaigns that are going to break in the next few weeks that are really going to try to help to drive people to the South Coast. Most of them are digital, but digital and billboards. But we're expecting a very good summer.
As we head toward the end of the year, O'Sullivan says the threat of a recession caused by the high inflation is not necessarily of concern to the business community. Rather, it's the fear of the unknown as to what the economy will do next. Fall River City Council this week gave unanimous approval to 2 positions that had been filled by Mayor Paul Coogan on an interim basis. Paul Garvin has now been appointed as permanent police chief, along with it a 3-year contract.
He stepped up at a time when there was some gaps to fill in the police department, and he's been doing a great job. I hear nothing but positives. The police department is like all of our agencies in the city. It's very big. There's a lot of different opinions. Obviously, their primary charge for us all is making the city safer, and that's what I think the new chief, Paul Garvin, will focus on. He's been in here on a number of positions and ideas he wants to do to make the department more efficient and work better. I know he's actively recruiting candidates to get a full class. Hopefully we get some more guys in August and turn around this department.
Ryan Lyons was appointed as full-time chair of the Elections Commission. He replaces Kelly Souza Young, who passed away after a long battle with cancer earlier this year.
Ryan's meticulous. If you work with him or you get to be around him, you know he follows through on things. If he doesn't know the answer, he's going to go find it. He comes over here a lot of times. We talk about things related to the elections. We have a couple of elections coming up this fall that he's got to be on top of, and he is right now. He showed me he's got a great work ethic. He's done everything in that department. He started, putting ballots in envelopes, and he worked his way up. And again, he took the reins under very unfortunate circumstances with Kelly's passing, but she recommended him for the position when she left. We had a conversation, and I believe she made a good call. I think Ryan will be an asset to the city for sure.
The city has seen another spike in COVID infection cases over the past week. Here's an update based on the latest numbers from last Thursday, May 19th. 271 new cases of the virus were reported last week, up from 183 the week before. Fall River now has 30,482 total cases since the onset of the pandemic in March of 2020. Vaccination rates remain flat, 70% of city residents receiving at least 1 dose of the vaccine, 63% fully vaccinated, and only 28% of all city residents have received the COVID vaccine booster. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Advocates still battle the perception that the illness is not being treated on a par with physical ailments. The National Alliance on Mental Health, or NAMI, has been at the forefront of the fight to educate the country as to how mental illness impacts thousands of lives. NAMI of Bristol County President Brenda Venice has been doing that work locally for over 25 years. She says those diagnosed with mental illness continue to face barriers in seeking treatment.
The therapists are like 8 months out. A doctor is even further. People go to hospitals for help, and they're lucky if they're in there 3 to 5 days. So no, the mental health isn't what it should be. We really need to focus on getting people help. And with COVID, we have a huge problem where the stigma is like going away a little bit because everyone else is getting it. Professionals are ending up with COVID. With the social distancing, the mask, I'm getting more calls that way. And then our young students, our young children, children in grammar schools, with the mask, social distancing, they're not able to be among children, all that kind of stuff. We have a high rate of children with mental health.
Of equal importance is helping families identify mental illness in loved ones and how to seek help.
Where can my children go? Where can my son or daughter go for help? Do I call the police? Do I, bring them to the hospital, the nearest hospital? Just like St. Anne's and Charlton now has a special unit for people with mental health. And I keep on saying this to people that, and this is my take on it, I believe that if I could get more people aware about mental health, see a psychiatrist, see a therapist, I'm not pushing medication on anybody, but get out there, say you need help, we wouldn't have the drug addiction problem that we have today.
Venice spends countless hours organizing informational events about mental illness and taking that awareness message to local high schools. She says the temporary focus on mental health seen this month is of little comfort to those with family members suffering from mental illness.
Even though a lot of people say May is Mental Health Awareness Month and you go way out, the thing is for me, it's every month, it's every day. I focus on it, not just in May, and then in October, the first week of October is Mental Illness Awareness Week, where I have the candlelight visuals in different areas. For me, it's every day, every month.
As part of the Fabric Fall River Festival 2 weeks ago, a large community mural was unveiled on the Quequechan River Trail.
What you're experiencing right now is what we call the Living Wall Mural, which was a project that Greg Pennison has been trying to accomplish for quite some time, and we were just happy to intervene in some way and make it a reality. It would not be possible if it weren't for our State Representative Carol Fiola fighting for this project with Mass DOT, who gave us a bit of a runaround. So we'd like to acknowledge her and her efforts. The City of Fall River also, who've been nothing but great. The mayor and his team, DCM, have been outstanding. They've been working with everyone here, actually, to install these beautiful sculptures and make this all possible.
We'll have more FRCMedia News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the MassHire Fall River Career Center. Registered nurse, Fall River Healthcare, located at 1748 Highland Avenue, seeks a full-time registered nurse to assess and identify patients' needs and implement and monitor the patient's medical plan and treatment. Job number 168-67807. Business Unit Finance Manager, Republic Services Incorporated, located at 1080 Airport Road, is looking for a full-time business unit finance manager responsible for the overall quality of accounting and statutory financial compliance. Job number 168-68181. Security Officer, Health First Family Care Center Incorporated, located at 387 Quarry Street, is seeking a part-time security officer responsible for ensuring that the health center is safe for patients and staff by investigating incidents, locking all doors, and setting alarms. Job number 168-70005. Supply Chain Category Manager, New England Gas Company, located at 36 5th Street, is looking for a full-time supply chain category manager. For more information, call 508-324-7811. The Fall River Public School Department, located at 417 Rock Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. ESL Teacher, job number 168-65912. Math Interventionist, job number 168-65908. For more information about these or other positions, visit MassHire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the MassHire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. Bristol Community College's 55th annual commencement ceremony was held last Saturday at the Fall River campus on Ellsbury Street. It was the first in-person ceremony following 2 years of virtual celebrations caused by the pandemic. Bristol President Dr. Laura Douglas told graduates they faced great challenges while taking classes during the pandemic, but persevered.
I don't think that any of us have fully processed what this moment will look like for generations to come, what our stories will be. I guarantee that you will look back with awe and pride that you earned your degrees and certificates during one of the most challenging times in our history. Class of 2022, you now hold a credential that is respected and recognized around the world. And you did it in one of the most challenging times in our history. Whether you are continuing your education or entering the workforce, your possibilities are endless and your future is bright.
Class valedictorian Victoria Perry of New Bedford graduated with her engineering degree at age 17 and will attend the Naval Academy this fall with the hopes of becoming a fighter pilot. She says that her and her classmates' experiences were unlike any others.
This event is the culmination of hours and hours spent studying, hundreds of emails, thousands of typing-tired handshakes, many late-night cram sessions, and more study snacks than you'd like to admit. Oh, and a global pandemic. How could I forget that? Now, instead of studying at a desk, on a couch, or maybe right here under these solar canopies trying to get some Wi-Fi, you're here, sitting in the audience of your graduation. This is not the end of our success. This is not the end of our goals. This is not where all the hard work ends. This is just the beginning. Everything we've learned while at Bristol is merely a cornerstone for our future success. Bristol provided us with the base. Now it is time for us to build structures that will touch the sky.
Meanwhile, high school graduations begin next week with Bishop Connolly holding its ceremony on Wednesday, June 1st, and Durfee next Friday, June 3rd. We'll have previews and wrap-ups beginning next week. It's Memorial Day weekend. There are a number of events in Fall River that will honor those in the city who have served and those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Here's a look at some of them. Beginning on Saturday, the War Veterans Council, in conjunction with Rolling Thunder, will hold a candlelight vigil at the Vietnam Memorial Wall. Activities begin at 6 p.m. with the vigil at 8:30. On Sunday, the Polish Kanjai Association is holding a ceremony at the Polish Monument on Plymouth Green, adjacent to Blessed Trinity Church on Plymouth Avenue. That happens at 8 a.m. Sergeant James Griffin will be remembered at a ceremony at 11 a.m. at Griffin Park in the city's Corky Row neighborhood. There are 5 events on Monday. Beginning at 10 a.m. at North Park, a ceremony will be held to commemorate the lives of Private Michael E. Bothot, Sergeant Robert Barrett, and Specialist Scott A. Andrews, killed in action during the global war on terrorism. World War II Corporal David Miller will be remembered at a ceremony on Miller Green at the intersection of South Main and Shove Streets at 11:30 a.m. The local chapter of Vietnam Veterans of America will hold its annual Memorial Day ceremony at noon aboard the USS Massachusetts. A prayer service and military honors will take place at 1:30 p.m. at the War Memorial Monument located at Kennedy Park, adjacent to St. Anne's Church. And finally, the annual Memorial Day Parade will step off beginning at 2 p.m. from Kennedy Park, heading down South Main Street to Government Center. Closing ceremonies will take place in Government Center following the parade. We'll wrap up this edition of FRC Media News after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Blossom. She's a 66-year-old dilute calico, which means she's a very nice pastel calico color. I think she's very pretty. She is a female. She's already spayed. She was surrendered with her 2 siblings, Buttercup and Bubbles, of course. You may notice her weird eyes. Her eyelids stick out a little bit extra, so she may need some surgery on her eyelids just to get them back in place. She's very sweet. She loves to be pet. She loves letting you know when she wants to be pet. She'll give you a little chirp and a little tap. When she gets really into it, she'll start drooling too, so she's a huge love bug. She's a little bit shy sometimes, so we want to put her in a home with older kids so they know how to respect her boundaries. If you want to come down and meet Blossom, you'll need to fill out an application on the Forever Paws website, and then we'll let you know if you're selected to adopt her.
This is Argo. He is 7 months old. He's actually an owner surrender. He's very jumpy and very active. He loves his tennis balls. He likes to play fetch a lot. He would be a great hiking partner. He loves outdoors. He definitely would need a quieter home. He's very a nervous and shy dog at first, but he would definitely warm up. He does great with other dogs. He knows commands. Argo, sit. Paw. Paw. Other paw. Other paw. Thank you. He definitely does not do well with other cats and no children due to his hyperness and his jumping. If you'd like to meet Argo, you can come on down to Forever Paws Animal Shelter, and you can also fill out an application online and give us a call to make an appointment. We'd love to meet you.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website at frmedia.org for all the latest news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. We leave you this week with a look back at some of the work of local artists from the Fall River Open Studio event held 2 weeks ago. Have a great long weekend, enjoy the activities of Memorial Day, and we'll see you next Thursday.